inspected her failures more closely than she could ever bear to. "I came to tell you Lydia called. She's not coming in today." "What? Why?" "Hungover, I expect." Laurel almost kept silent, but she'd known Rip since she was a child, and her mother cleaned these rooms. He used to give Laurel peppermint sticks out of the candy jars in the gift shop. The October of her 8th birthday, he gave her a kite that hadn't sold all summer because the packaging was torn. She and Mom and Gran took it to the beach and flew it until a gust of wind grabbed it and crumpled it into a broken-winged bird. They still had fun, though. Losing the kite wasn't a tragedy. They dropped it in the fire pit and used it to light the kindling. Gran made Laurel write Rip a thank you note the next day, and 22 years later, that note still lay tucked under the glass on his desktop. Laurel had moved away and returned a dozen times with her mother, but the note was still there. Rip was still Rip, managing the Hoover's motel like he'd been doing for decades, and Laurel, the real Laurel, was still here too. She straightened her shoulders. "You should just fire her." Rip laughed, a single "Should I now?" "There is no just," was the secret motto of everyone who worked at the lakeshore. The saying lived in her earliest memories, along with the cedary aroma of the inside of Gran's sauna, the song of the peepers ricocheting from the swamps in the spring, the sight of Gran at the stove boiling cranberries or blueberries or any other berry that grew for jam. No just, and often no justice. It was a fact life here taught you early and kept on teaching you, no matter how well you thought you'd learned your lesson. Laurel ducked her chin. "Yeah, no, I know better." "Good, because if I fire her, who do I replace her with? You have a clone of yourself stashed away? Or else maybe your kid's ready to start working?" "She's 10, Rip. 10 today." "Is she?" Rip grimaced, the way people did when they wanted to convey that time flew without spending breath on the subject. And it did. Gran always insisted it sped faster and faster as you grew older, and at nearly 30, Laurel knew she'd been right. Anyway, Lid's young and chafing at the bit for her life to happen. She'll grow up yet. The question right now is whether you can pick up her slack in the meantime. "Oh, Rip, I don't think so. I promised Skye I'd be home by 3 at the latest. We're supposed to spend the day on the beach. All day and half the night. It's the Perseids." "Is it? Well, the best laid plans of mice and men, eh? Ask the boss man on that one." "What do you mean?" "I don't mean anything." Rip had a way of sounding final. She had never argued with him and never would. Certain truths about yourself you had to accept. "What about Paula? I can't let Skye down." Rip gave her the lowered brow look that always made her feel simple-minded. "Mrs. H. has not been gracing this place with her presence overmuch of late, Laurel. Or have you not noticed?" "I thought she was busy with their house remodel." "Sure, that's what it is." Laurel hunched her shoulders and kept quiet. No need to further expose her cluelessness. Rip ran his eyes over the room. Pine-paneled walls, a bureau bearing an old-style television on its scarred shoulders, the bed made up with a pastel-flowered duvet. His gaze lingered on a water stain on the ceiling. The lakeshore was not in perfect condition, but it was nowhere near as run down as the breakers up on the main street, so it was always busy in the season. And the Hoovers painted it at least once a decade and replaced the mattresses now and then, so in this town, on the northernmost rim of Michigan, it was respectable, or it had been. Since the county paved the back road from McAllister a few years ago, the visitors came faster and thicker and were more demanding, less appreciative, and in a bigger hurry. Not all of them, but enough that Laurel veered quicker than ever away from strangers. Rip knocked on the doorframe. "What do you think?" Laurel twisted her hair around her hand. Her grandmother had called it her crowning glory, but mostly Laurel kept it in a low ponytail, out of her way and less apt to call notice to itself. Long, curling, the color of cider vinegar, it was the hair of a storybook princess and didn't fit the rest of her, thin and angular, strong lines drawn quick. "I can't, Rip."